Hey guys, and welcome to another video. Some feedback that I'm getting from newer cyclists is they're always asking me questions about bike maintenance, about bike washing, and just a general guide on how to do things. So I took my bike out yesterday for a ride and it was raining and it is filthy. And let me show you it here now. So I'm going to go through some tips and tricks about bike maintenance, especially cleaning, and I also need to change my tyres and do a few other little things. So I'll put some timestamps throughout the video, and if you need to look up something in particular, you can just go straight there. Alright, let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do is rinse the bike down and remove any grit or sand. This is so when you wipe the bike later, you don't scratch the paint job. I use Muck Off Bike Cleaner. This next tool I'm using is called a chain cleaner. You can put some degreaser into it and run the chain through and it will clean all the chain links fairly easily. If you don't have this tool, you can use 2 toothbrushes and regularly apply a degreaser. I've used various brands of degreaser in the past, but currently I really like using Morgan Blue. This degreaser actually smells like degreaser, unlike Muck Off, where it smells like shampoo that you'd use to wash your hair with. You want to run the chain a few rotations through the chain cleaning tool. Note, in the video here, there's still a ton of grease buildup on the jockey wheels and cassette, so we'll be tackling that too later. Once the bike cleaner has been on the bike for a few minutes, it's time to wash it off with a sponge. I found that the easiest way to clean the jockey wheels and cassette is to remove the back wheel. This gives you unrestricted access to both. Here, I'm using this scraping tool to remove the excess grease before I use this wet cloth to wipe it down. You'll need to rotate the jockey wheel a few times to make sure you've gotten it all off. While you're doing this, you can spray some degreaser onto cassette to let it loosen up the grease there. Finally, use a brush on the cassette, working your way over all the gears. If you've done this well, when you rinse it, it'll look like new. This step is super satisfying. I'm also going to use a cloth to wipe down the teeth of the chain rings. Finally, put the back wheel on and give the drivetrain one last rinse. This is to remove any excess degreaser which is still on the chain or on the components. This will ruin the effectiveness of the lubricant you use later on. Alright, time to bring the bike back inside and do some final wipe downs. It's essential to wipe down the chain of any water, otherwise it can rust and really ruin the lifespan and efficiency of the chain. I'm also going to wipe down any other metal components like the cassette and take this opportunity to clean the brake calipers, which are usually obscured by the wheels. Any component that is in contact with a moving part of the bike should be lubricated in some way. I'm wiping down the axles and reapplying some grease in the video here. This doesn't need to be done regularly, but it's something to keep in mind. When doing this, just put a small amount of grease on the axle and wipe it along with your finger. The brand I use is called Crystal by White Lightning, but anything your local bike shops sell for this purpose should be fine. There's a few easy ways to know when to change your tyre, and I think a lot of people change theirs when there's plenty of life left still. The ones I'm taking off in this video are GP5000s and have lasted me well over 12,000 kilometers. Rotate the tyre and look for 2 little holes in the tyre. There's a depth indicator to show how much tread is left. If these are barely visible, it's time to change. Another reason to change tyres is if there are a lot of cuts or openings which could lead to flats. These accumulate over time as you run over sharp rocks or glass, and it's important to check your tyres for any shards lodged in the tread. I've got a brand new pair of GP5000s, this time in all black, and I'm going to be putting them on my wheels. Before putting the tyre on, check the print on the side for the direction of rotation to ensure your tyre is spinning in the way it's designed. I remember when I first changed a tyre, it would take me over 45 minutes, so here's some tips and tricks to do it faster. Once the tyre is deflated, push the tyre off the bead of the wheel by pressing in on the sides. The rubber of the tyre should not be touching the sides walls of the wheel. This will make it a lot easier to remove. After putting on the new tyre, inflate the inner tube very slightly so it's not completely limp within the rim. If you're changing a tube due to a puncture, it's good practice to check the inside of the tyre to make sure there are no glass or sharp objects poking through. This will lead to an immediate flat. You should be able to get about 80% of the new tyre on without using levers, making sure the inner tube is not being caught between the tyre and the rim. I made this mistake here in the video and noticed as soon as I was pumping the tyre up. Tyre pressure also seems to be a topic of a lot of debate. In my opinion, this is an easily answered question, as it's just a function of your weight, the width of the tyres you're running, and the surface you'll be riding on. There are many online calculators which can do this for you. I use the one I'm showing on the screen. Plenty of people run their tyres too high pressure because they believe this will give them better rolling resistance. This is false. In reality, we ride on outside roads where the surface quality is a mixture of concrete, asphalt and potholes, and not on indoor tracks. Lower pressure will give you better ride quality, more grip on corners, and in fact better rolling resistance. Last thing to do is put some lube on the chain. I apply on both sides of the chain in generous amount because if I feel the chain creaking or I hear it rubbing while I'm riding, I instantly lose 20 watts. Anyway, hope you guys found this video informative and helpful. I'm not affiliated with any of these brands, and the only reason why I use these products is because I think they're good value for money, which means more money to spend on pastries. Happy to answer any questions about my brand choices, and if you got a better way of doing things, let me know. I'm always keen to learn more. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.